When Boruto killed Momoshiki during the versus Momoshiki arc, he was given a prophecy that is yet to bear fruit. Momoshiki said that those blue eyes will take everything from you, which people have theorized to be Boruto's Jougan. However, there's one big problem with that theory. Boruto only has one Jougan, and that's still the case even post time skip as shown in the flash forward scene back in chapter 1. So Momoshiki couldn't be talking about Boruto's Jougan since he said blue eyes, meaning more than one. So whose blue eyes is Momoshiki referring to? If we fast forward to chapter 55, we see that Isshiki's soul manifested through Code's white karma and implanted his will upon Code, the will to become a peerless, unique existence, the will to become a god. This brings us to what or whom Isshiki visualized as this god, and that was a person with multiple Jougans, multiple blue eyes. It suffices to say that if Isshiki visualized this person as the god above the Otsutsukis, the peerless, unique being, this must mean that there was once a person like this, or there is a person like this currently. And this brings me to Toneri Otsutsuki. In episode 15, Toneri said that the gate Nue opened has been sealed and the time for the Jougan won't be coming up for a while. He then says that this is only a temporary delay. In time the gods will descend upon the land. The interesting thing about this statement is that in episode 54, Toneri referred to Isshiki not as a god, but as a celestial being, which could just mean someone from outer space or someone from the stars. He then says that he thought the Otsutsuki clan's fate would reach an end with him, and that he didn't know that the main branch still existed. Now, if he thought the clan's fate would have ended with him, and if he didn't know that the main branch still existed, which gods was he referring to back in episode 15 when he said that the gods would descend upon the land? And why was he surprised when Isshiki said we, referring to Momoshiki and Kinshiki, when he said the gods with an S, which means more than one god, would descend upon the land? It just doesn't make sense. The only way this makes sense is if Toneri wasn't referring to Isshiki, Momoshiki, and Kinshiki. He was referring to beings above them, actual gods of peerless existence, per Isshiki's statement. This is backed up by Momoshiki in chapter 67 when he stated that why Boruto will lose everything due to those blue eyes, even he cannot see, but it will be soon. It shall be a true spectacle. What exactly did Momoshiki see that he thinks it will be a true spectacle? What piqued Momoshiki's interest to the point where he would rather have his power enslaved by a human child forever just so he can witness this phenomenon? I think it's the arrival of the gods above the Otsutsuki, gods with Jougans, gods with multiple blue eyes that will take everything from Boruto. Now, I do think this happens post time skip around the time Boruto is fighting Kawaki. Momoshiki did say that it would be soon, but soon to Momoshiki can mean multiple years because time is different to him since he's over 1,000 years old. And this is backed up by Toneri when he said that this shouldn't have happened as yet, it's too soon, when he's referring to the Isshiki invasion with Momoshiki and Kinshiki. So this means that Momoshiki's prophecy might be aligned with Toneri's prophecy, which is something that is to come and not what came before. And just to clarify one thing, when I say the eyes are blue, that's how it's described to be blue. That's what the description of a Jougan is, and is also shown in the anime adaptation. So when you go back to the manga, it obviously isn't blue because it hasn't been colored. So we're just going off the assumption based on what they showed in the anime for the Jougan that it will likely be the same for the Jougan in the manga. And based on what was displayed from the Otsutsuki god, the theoretical Otsutsuki god that's shown in the Isshiki arc, it's likely that all those eyes that he possesses and even the eyes surrounding him are also Jougans because they have the black sclera similar to the Jougan. Now, the Jougan is technically the only eye that was ever described to look this way, aside from Ada's Senringan, but based on the pattern that's within these eyes, it doesn't appear to be the Senringan, it's more so aligned with the description of the Jougan and how it looks in the anime. So for now, we can theorize that these are all Jougans, and this will link it back to the theory I had earlier, that the prophecy that Momoshiki created, or the prophecy that Momoshiki prophesied, was in reference to the Otsutsuki invasion by these gods. Speaking of Otsutsuki invasion, it's also likely that these beings are not Otsutsukis, right? Because they can't just be other beings above the Otsutsukis and the Otsutsukis work below them. But it could also be that these are Otsutsukis that transcended to a higher level. So they're still Otsutskis, but they're higher level Otsutskis, Otsutsuki gods. So either is possible, I will say, but it's kind of weird how Isshiki speaks to Toneri and how Toneri speaks to Isshiki. And it's never really explained how Isshiki betrayed the Otsutsuki clan if he never knew they existed. Because based on the dialogue between him and Isshiki, he didn't know that they existed. He didn't know about the main branch. He had no idea that they still existed. So how would he betray the clan if he was never in contact with the original Otsutsuki clan? The dialogue just doesn't make sense, or it could make sense and we're just missing like a small piece of information that would just fill in the blank and make everything just connect and make sense. Now that is a lot to ask, I know, but again, they can parse it out if they want to, and we might get some concrete information in the upcoming chapters, who knows. But all in all, I think this theory does make sense. I don't think it makes more sense for him to be referring to Boruto's singular Jougan as blue eyes, as in plural, meaning more than one, right? And Boruto only has one Jougan even now, and even if you go to the time skip, he still has one Jougan. And I saw another theory saying that it's possible that he's referring to Naruto's blue eyes, which would be weird. I don't know, why would Naruto's blue eyes take everything from Boruto, right? And why would he say that to Boruto? It's kind of weird. I think it makes more sense that he saw the blue eyes, as in the Jougans, and he saw that Boruto had a Jougan, and he made a connection saying that those blue eyes will take everything from you. I think it just makes more sense that he saw the blue eyes of the Otsutsuki god, or the transcended Otsutsuki, whatever you want to call them, the beings above the regular Otsutsukis, of course. Another thing I found very interesting is that people have theorized that Isshiki's dojutsu is somehow on the same level of the Jougan, which I find it to be weird. Now that would be pretty cool if it is, then we can have like a more even matchup between Boruto and Kawaki in the future, because they'll both have a singular dojutsu, which is weird, but that's what's happening right now in Boruto. So if we say, okay cool, it's on the same level of the Jougan, why is it that when Isshiki envisioned a Otsutsuki god, that Otsutsuki god never had Isshiki's dojutsu? Like, we don't know the name of the dojutsu. They call it the Dharmagon or whatever they want to call it, but we're just gonna call it Isshiki's dojutsu for now. So Isshiki's dojutsu is never displayed on this Otsutsuki god's body. It's not in his eye sockets, it's not on his forehead, it's not on any of the wall thingies that have the multiple Jougans. Why is that? Why wouldn't Isshiki envision the strongest Otsutsuki with his dojutsu if his dojutsu was comparable to that of the Jougan? Why would Isshiki envision the Jougans that was never tied to him in any way, shape or form? He never mentioned the dojutsu, nothing related to it ever happened to him. He didn't even know that Boruto had the dojutsu. So all of a sudden, when he's envisioning the Otsutsuki god, he has multiple Jougans. And you could say this is just the writing staff showing us something, and I guess you could say that. But I don't know, I think in the storytelling format, Isshiki is telling the story of going around conquering the planets, becoming this peerless, unique being, becoming a god, and this is what he visualized. I think this is what Isshiki visualized within himself, and that's what they show to us on screen. But let me know what you guys think about the theory in the comment section. Do you think it makes sense, or do you more side with the Boruto Jougan theory that Boruto will take everything from himself? If that's the case, let me know why in the comment section, and just parse it out and I'll listen, and we can have a conversation. But yeah, if you like the video, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, check the links in the comment section or the description, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, above all else, have a great day. Peace out.